approval of the agenda, please.
I move that the agenda be approved as presented, if there are no corrections.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Commissioner Hawley, second by Commissioner Peterson, that the agenda for the day of November the 18th be approved. Are there questions to the motion? Question to the motion. There being no question to the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes have it. The agenda is approved. Okay. Do we have the September 2025 minutes?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Sorry. Is that large enough for everybody to see?
You might want to make it a little bit bigger for me.
That's okay. There we go.
I gotta get my eyeglasses changed. I gotta borrow some money from Frank so I can go get them changed.
As soon as I catch that check, I'll have some.
I move that the agenda be accepted as shown for September.
Okay, these are the minutes. Okay.
Second.
Okay, it was properly moved by Commissioner Boyd that the minutes of September 25 be approved as presented with any necessary corrections. They were seconded by Commissioner Peterson. Are there any questions to the motion? There are no questions to the motion. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Okay, we got another set of minutes here of October. '25.
I see that there are a couple of typos. We can go in and fix those. Like the FAP should be FHAP.
Okay.
Were these the ones with the D left off my last name?
What did you say, Ethelene?
I had called the office yesterday about the D being left off my last name, Boyd. I was asking if these were the ones. I can't see it. So it was probably fixed, wasn't it, Director?
I'm not sure which minutes those were. I didn't hear about the call.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can find it.
These are the updated.
Okay, it looks like she fixed it.
Okay. Can we get a motion?
I move that the minutes for the October 2025 meeting be approved as shown.
Commissioner Board has motioned that the October 25 minutes be approved with any necessary corrections. Do I get a second?
Second.
It's been properly seconded by Commissioner Holly. Are there any questions to the motion? There being no question to the motion, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. We will go to the next set of minutes. Or do we, I think we got another set here.
Special meeting.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
I move that go ahead.
I move that the minutes of the special session be approved as presented.
Commissioner Holly has made a motion that these minutes of the special meeting be approved as presented with the necessary corrections.
I second.
Been seconded by Commissioner Board. Are there any questions to the motion? There being no question to the motion, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Thank you very much. And let's go to the October 2025 Director's Report.
Okay. So we didn't have any right to sue letters issued in the month of October, and no cases settled in mediation or conciliation. We coordinated with outside counsel to draft materials supporting the commission's legal position. The city did get the unit clarification petition filed with the Employment Appeals Board at the end of last month, and they gave a tentative approval on November, I think, 3rd or 4th, approving removing the commission's positions from the city's collective bargaining agreement under the understanding that the commission is a separate employer. We had the joint follow-up meeting, and we got several updates. One of the updates was that the property proposed for the office relocation would need close to $2 million in damage, not damages, but in repairs. I requested a detailed breakdown of kind of what those costs were because when we went through, we identified certain things that we needed repaired, and alterations that needed to be made for accessibility reasons. And the costs were nowhere near the estimated costs. I received a document that it's kind of like an overview or like a summary of costs, not necessarily a breakdown of what those costs are. And I'm unclear of what the costs entail. In looking over it, it looks like they have broken out the costs as like a general renovation and then an ADA renovation. So the things that are there for accessibility. The general renovation, there's no explanation of what those costs are or what is entailed in that. So I was proposing going back to them and asking them to give us more details of what they're factoring into that, because I have no idea what is being factored into the costs. And it appears that they have broken it out into 4 separate projects with an estimated timeline of 11 months, which would seem to be a very extensive remodel project versus the minor things that we had identified. And then the second option was to have us go to something called the Collins House. And I received an update from Nicole Gleason that she and Basha Gerlach, the CFO, had gone and visited the property and didn't think that it would be suitable for our purposes. And they sent a few pictures, and it appears to just be a single-family home. So I don't think that would be suitable for our purposes either. I'm sorry?
Yeah, that home is not very big inside. There's lots of rooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's old. It's by the park over there by Wittenmeyer, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been in there with clients in the past. They've had cooking classes there. It's very small in there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's old too. I think it has sat for a while.
I got a question, Director Lacy. Have we defined what our requirements are in terms of physical layout, space, number of offices, rooms, et cetera, that we need for the physical footprint? Because if they're just out looking for stuff without knowing what they're looking for or having been defined, and that kind of puts us both at a disadvantage. They're just looking without any baseline or measure to compare to. And
we sent that before. That was approved by the commission a few months ago, and we sent that over. When we discussed it at the meeting, I'm
not sure I have that to that lays out what our requirements are. I probably have it. I may have overlooked it. Because they seem to be looking for stuff, and they're looking at remodeling, refurbishing buildings. They're looking at leasing space and et cetera. But that should be against some kind of baseline definition to see if it meets up with that.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up here. But we went over that a few months ago. And so when we discussed it at the meeting, I know there was some discussion of it, and I wasn't sure exactly what was in the document that we provided them because it was so long ago. And there seems to be just ongoing issues that never seem to end. So I had to go back and review it. But yeah, we provided them this in August. And yeah. So do you recall us discussing this a few months back?
I do not, but that doesn't mean we didn't discuss it. So I have to apologize for not tracking with this. Now,
He probably was eating lunch.
I probably was. I'm sorry. So do we have like a footprint, or I see we got 6 offices, and do we have like like floor space needed? And so they're working to this when they do their assessments. I'm assuming.
No, I don't think so, because in the meeting, my notes as written down say that they wanted us to create this, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we can discuss that at the commission meeting. And then when I looked through the records, I saw that this was already sent to them. So then I thought maybe I had taken down my notes incorrectly, and that they really wanted us to discuss whether we wanted to see them pursue getting the fire station as previously discussed, or if we wanted to have them look for something else. But yeah, we provided this to them, so
I'd be honest. I don't think they're actually working to this. They could be.
I don't think so either, and I think it's very frustrating that they are having me take time away from work that I should be doing to do this stuff, and then they're not using it, and then asking us to redo it.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Because this would make it a little easier, especially if they're looking at that one building, and if it doesn't meet our physical footprint requirement, then why even waste the time? And if they're going out looking for leasing stuff, it should be against our baseline requirements. And otherwise, everybody's just spinning their wheels and just doing stuff without any targets or goals in place.
Yeah.
We immediately went out a few months ago to look things over ourselves. So I thought that we were just moving right along, and now to hear this host of things, do we need to go there and look with them? Would that if we jointly went over with them and we could look at it like we did and talk about it?
Has everyone had a chance to look at the estimate that they sent over?
That's the $2 million.
Yeah, I don't know what this entails. I'll be perfectly honest with you, because it is. I'll put it up on the screen. It is very odd how it is structured.
Whatever they're looking at should comply with those requirements, those baseline requirements that you laid out. I mean, where it says you need space for ADA, I mean, they should be able to come up with 600, 800, 1,000 square feet and some general layout or outline. And the offices should be, 8 by 10, 15 by 20, some details. So when they start looking at stuff, they have some idea of what the requirements are. I mean,
from my understanding, they hired somebody to do this for other departments, but they wanted us to do it ourselves, which we did do. And then it seems like if my notes are correct, and they could be inaccurate, it seems like we were asked to do it again. And this is what was provided as when I asked for the more detailed a document that showed like what this $2 million entails, and it looks like page 1 and 2 are their breakdowns for like the ADA repairs that are needed on the first floor, and then 3 and 4 are their ADA repairs for the second floor. It's it seems like quite a bit of soft costs, which I don't know what that entails exactly. I don't know what like to replace or to open up a doorway to be wider, $16,000, and then there's a $35,000 insurance cost on each one. So it looks like they've broken it out into 4 separate projects, and then they've added a separate insurance cost onto each one. I noticed on one of them they've added in that they are remodeling the truck bays for $300,000, and we didn't ask them to touch the truck bays, so we were fine with them remaining as is, and we could use it as storage space. I don't know why this would be included in the estimate if it's not something that we asked for. Are they just doing a gratuitous remodel to update the whole property, even though that's not what was requested? I'm not sure. So I wanted to touch back bases with the commission to see if you were okay with me going back to say, what can we have specifics, and why are you doing these extra things if they're not what we asked for? I know that they have complained previously about me asking too many questions, but I'm very confused by this, looking at this. And even the exterior wall repair of $215,000 that they say was caused due to an accident. So why would that be something counted against remodel costs for our purposes if this is something that they have to repair anyway?
It still would have to be repaired, but I think that we need to find out is there a plan? Do they have a floor plan? Has something been set up as to how the design is for the layout, and if that layout meets our requirements? Because right now, I mean,
we did one when we went. I went and did and proposed a layout for it, and that was sent over to them. So we did look at it, and from what we needed, it was just, we really could use cubicles, so we didn't need to like add walls or anything. There were some changes that were included within the document that we provided to them and what we were requesting that they alter, and it even had an estimate of the cost, and it was nowhere near these costs. So I'm just not. This looks like a very large estimate for unknown repairs or alterations. And I'm not sure how we can comment on them, or, what we can use it for if we don't know what it entails. Like what is the plumbing for a 2,300 square foot? Are they just replacing all of the plumbing to the building? Is something wrong with the plumbing? We don't know. HVAC, I don't.
I would be hesitant. I would be hesitant to try to make a decision on these numbers because we have, like you say, we have no idea what these numbers mean, if they are in compliance with our requirements and with the design that we've requested. Does this meet that criteria? So without having that information, it would be hard to make a decision on these from my viewpoint.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what this represents. Some of it seems to indicate that they're taking out the stairwell and replacing it to add a second stairwell. The building isn't large enough to require 2 exits under the International Building Code. So I don't know I have no idea what it's based on. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So can we ask them to clarify this and to clarify what they're basing it on against their, do they have a design? Is that design in compliance with our request? And, if so, you know, to, clarify it for us.
Okay.
I think it's definitely okay to ask questions. You know, it's okay.
Yeah, because it was my understanding that we were getting an estimate based on the request that we had made, and this does not appear to be that. So I'm not sure if this is just an estimate to just remodel the property in general. I don't know. I mean, I think we all understood that they were not going to invest a significant amount of money into altering the property. So we were just seeking really the accessibility alterations and then like to have them paint it, and then the furniture that we were told that we were going to get.
Yeah, minimal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think conversation regarding what the design, the proposed design is that they've come up with, and if it meets our requirements, if it's excess, do we need all that, or what we can live with, you know, for this particular estimate. But are there other estimates also, or this is just it?
That was the estimate that they gave us the document at the meeting. And then it just had like an overview of the numbers, and so I asked for a breakdown of what that entails, and this is what I received. The document that was just on the screen is what I received. So, and it said a renovation of both levels would exceed $1.8 million. So, and then, that's on the agenda too, but I would propose that we ask that they move forward with the Fire Station 3 and give us an actual estimate on the alterations that we requested and see if that's feasible.
Yeah.
I would be inclined to agree with that, but I'm just not sure of the other options. I really haven't had a chance to look at those options and eliminate them. I think you've already done that. Some of them you say aren't adequate space-wise, and they don't give us the footprint. And
well, they only gave us that one option, and they came back and said that it wasn't going to be adequate. The Collins House.
Oh, that was the only one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And well, then they asked us to send them something that said what they were looking for, but then I thought we'd already done that.
Then they talk about leasing or something, or leasing space. They mentioned that at the meeting there, at the special meeting.
Yes. But, I mean, they would have to give us the options for that.
I thought they brought that up at the meeting there when you had the special meeting. That was one of the options. I thought they had like 3 or 4 different options. One was that new building. The other one was the update on remodel the space, and then it was the leasing, and then I thought it was like at least 3 or 4 options. I didn't get notes on that.
The first option was for them to do a ground level renovation and accessibility improvements for Fire Station 3. And that was $1.25 million. The second option was for them to do a full renovation and accessibility improvements at Fire Station 3, and that was $1.8 million. The third one was to remodel our existing office space which was 280,000, but a rebid would be required. And then option 4 was to lease private office space. Offer a fixed annual lease amount to the commission. But so I don't know if they're looking for us to go and look for office. I mean, I don't know. This seems like work for someone who has staff, and we don't.
Oh, yeah, no, it shouldn't be on us. It should be on them to do that. That's what I got from the meeting, was they were gonna do that. And provide us the numbers and the options, and then we will make a decision and do assess them against our requirements to see which one was most compatible and make a recommendation.
Yeah, the only follow-up that I received was that they went and looked at the Collins house and that it was not a feasible option.
So I think we should ask them for more data on the other options, so we can do a comparison on those options as to if they meet the requirements and, you know, what's feasible.
Okay, I think we are going round and round on this one, and I believe that we probably just need to go back and ask for more clarification and let that be it, and come back next month or whatever and stuff and see what they give us, or within a week or so, see what they give us, and let's try to make a decision on what we need to do. But I can tell you that I don't think leasing is a real good option, because when you start with budget cuts, that's the first thing they want to cut is places where you're leasing things at, and puts us in a dilemma about trying to find office space and stuff and things of that nature. So I would think it would be to our advantage to be in a building that the city already owns and stuff. And then lastly, you know, if they're gonna do the renovation, looks like the most feasible one is to go ahead and get the one where we're currently at, but I would just like to see the assessment as well as what Frank just talked about. So I think we can make that decision, let you go back and do that, Director Lacy, and come back to us.
Okay. And then I never got any response regarding the certification of the HUD funding and that process. And then as we were at the meeting and we discussed the carryover of the leftover funding from last year due to the inability to hire, Basha mentioned that she had carried over funding of $35,000, which I had no idea about, and she processed that on October 30th. I am not sure what that number represents, but it is really highlights the issue of them not certifying the funding even more, because if I don't know what they're doing or when they're doing it, it's impossible for me to manage the budget effectively or certify the actions when I don't have any control over this nor visibility. I did invite her to speak at today's meeting because I was hoping that she could come and explain to the commission what she meant when she said that we overspend in the HUD account. But she said she wasn't available. When I looked back at it, the previous years, and sorry if I sound frustrated, it's because I am, because we have not gone over budget. And what it appears happened is when they were supposed to be making the part-time staff person full-time and they didn't do it, they didn't move the funding over as we requested. And then after the end of the fiscal year, there was a transfer of 30-something thousand dollars of costs over into the general fund, which left us with 27,000 in the fair housing fund as it was just funding left over from that year. So I don't know why they did that, and I don't have any information on that. And that was again something that was done that I wasn't notified of. I just happened to just go in and check the budget and notice that they had done it. So it really kind of makes it impossible for me to manage it if I don't know what they are doing or why they're doing it. And this is what I can see on my end. So this was the funding that we were discussing about them carrying over for this year to allow us to use the remainder of that funding to hire additional staff since we were blocked from hiring for basically a year. But as you can see, we haven't gone over. This is the only year that shows that it's negative, and that's because they transferred expenses over to that account. I don't know what that was for, but I did know that it was like the same amount that they transferred back over this year. So again, I have no idea what is happening there or why.
Sounds like we need to have another meeting with budget again. No.
Yeah, it's so October 30th, 2025, they transferred $35,702 into the or $32,887.79 into the Fair Housing Fund. And then that gave us now $102,000 in that account. But at the end of last year, we had $75,303.24 left over. At the end of fiscal year 2024, we had $27,205.54 left over. And this again was because they transferred some of those expenses into the general fund account. And I can't explain what exactly happened there because I'm not sure. I don't know what the reason was for it, but it placed us over budget. We didn't go over budget. They transferred expenses over into that account, and that put us over budget. So I don't know what to do with that one. So I have asked repeatedly for that to be fixed, and that has been ignored. So I have really just kind of given up on the 24 being fixed. And so what we were requesting was the remainder of the $75,000 to be carried over into fiscal year 26, since the reason that it wasn't used was outside of our control. Because if you remember, I think it was sometime between October and December, the investigator position posting was removed, and we were told that it was by accident, but it was never reposted. We tried to proceed with recruitment. We were trying to get the salary fixed, and it just was continuously delayed through their administrative reviews of processes, position classifications, the salary implementation process. They were trying to figure out the process, but the result of it was it prevented us from using those funds that were budgeted for staffing. And obviously during that time, we continued to receive complaints and need to fulfill our statutory obligations, but we didn't have staff. So then that is causing an additional growing caseload and backlog and longer processing times. And so even though they have now, this month, allowed us to move forward with the hiring process, the results of those actions is still there. And so we were requesting that they put the remaining $48,764 back into the budget to allow us to hire temporary staff to mitigate the operational consequences of that hiring delay. And so we were proposing temporary appointments, limited hour positions, or contracted services. That way we can kind of reduce the backlog to a manageable level and restore timely processing to complaints as they're coming in, and then reestablish timelines for our expected timelines for resolution. When we discussed this at the meeting, there was a lot of discussion of this is how things are normally done, and they don't normally allow people to carry funding over. But obviously they don't normally block people from hiring for a year either. But that they asked us to draft up a business case to explain why we would need that funding carried over. And that's also another thing that's actually on the agenda, but is the commission okay with that explanation being given to them? Is that, this was due to this operational delay that was outside of our control. We are requesting this. We understand that it is, one time, and it's not something that they're going to carry over going forward or a new process. We're asking that they consider these special circumstances and make an exception for their rule of how they normally do things based on what has happened here with the delay in our hiring and the impact that it's had on operations.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it as well.
Okay. So I'll get that sent over to them today. And then do you all want further clarification of what they did here with the funding? I figured this would be easier to look at than what the Munis system shows. But yeah, I can't explain that to you, and I think it would have to come from finance because they're the ones that are doing it.
What is it gonna do for us? I mean,
just to have an understanding. I mean, she threw out that we were overspending, and I think that's a very
okay.
specific thing to say to the council members and the commission and to the public.
Okay,
because it indicates that we're exceeding our budget.
Okay, well, they need to show us how we did that then when we got money in the pot.
Yeah. So do you want me to invite them back or
Yes.
ask that she give a written explanation and we can send it out to everybody? Or
Yeah, because we didn't really exceed our funds.
Okay, and then, I still haven't received any findings on my internal complaints either. We did do some interviews, so we have, at least one person starting next Monday, but maybe more. I have a couple of interviews set up this week. And then I'm also going to open up the training that we're going to start next week to other commissions in the state. So it looks like a couple of the other directors might be interested in participating in the training. and they asked if we were charging. I had not planned on charging because it was a training that we were already doing. And it's definitely tailored to our staff, but if they want to participate, I was fine with them participating, and I was just gonna make it available via Zoom. Is everyone kinda, anybody have any opinions on that going forward? If we should maybe make that a discussion item for the commission, or if we're,
When you say make it a discussion item, I mean,
like, if we should be charging if they sit in on our
No.
trainings?
no, I mean,
Okay.
we should probably try to do things, in a cooperative way when we can and
Yeah.
charge when we have to.
Okay. Okay. And, if any commissioners want to sit in, just let me know. But it's more sort towards, learning the investigations process, but if you want to sit in, just let me know.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
When is it?
It's probably gonna be over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're gonna be training, and Monday, it probably won't be 8 to 5 because they will do onboarding through the city's process where they go through the training, learn about benefits and stuff. So Monday might be a shorter day, but we're typically going 8 to 5.
Oh, no, I ain't gonna go no 8 to 5.
Ditto.
No,
For 2 or 3 weeks?
I'm not gonna be here next week anyway, so.
You said it's gonna be for 2 or 3 weeks, Director Lacy?
Yeah, it's so we're going over all of the different areas. So we have to do the employment training, housing, which is a little bit of a different animal. And then we're just kind of going over like the basics of the law, explaining what the investigative processes are, how the systems work, what things they should be including in like an investigative plan, things you're looking for when you're conducting an investigation, that kind of thing.
I'd love to.
But go ahead, Frank, I'm sorry.
No, I said I'd love to. I'd need that training, but I can't commit for that length of time.
Okay. And then there is on open meetings, open records training being offered by Iowa State. Did everybody get that email from Steph?
Yes.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's a $50 fee. And they have a bunch of different times. So if you're interested in attending, just let Steph know, and then she can get you registered for it, and they can email you out a link to join.
Okay, and remind me of when that is.
They have various dates and times.
Okay.
Yep, I tried to register for it, they wanted me to pay $50, and I said, I stopped.
Yeah, if you just let her know what date and time you want to attend,
Mm-hmm.
then she can register it, and it'll send the information to your email.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
And case status. So we have. So in October we had one new. Okay, doesn't want to stay. One new housing case. We had 6 new intakes, 4 for EEOC and 2 for ICRC. We have 173 open employment cases. Oh no, this has disappeared on me. Okay, I'm gonna have to reopen my little, to put it into the PDF, it no longer moves around. 1 second. I closed the other screen that is more interactive. We have 72 open housing cases, 25 public accommodation, and 19 education cases. And that's all I have.
Okay, any questions for Director Lacy? Thank you, Director Lacy. Let's continue to move on here. What do we have? New business here, PA-009-003-25. What is that?
This is a public accommodations case involving disability and race discrimination. Issued a probable cause decision, and I would recommend moving that forward to public hearing. It seems like an issue that could be repeated again in the future with other people, like it would have an impact for the community other than just this complainant. Even though we don't have very many resources for public hearing, it seems like this would be one that meets that criteria for it.
Okay.
You want more details of what?
Just a little bit, if you could share it, please.
Okay, so the complainant in this case is an African-American man with a disability, and he encountered this public accommodation and needed an accommodation because he had been hospitalized because of his disability, and he was not given the accommodation. And there were comments made indicating that they suspected that he was engaged in criminal activity based on the presence of his service animals, which were pit bulls. There was no further indication of why there was a suspicion of criminal activity aside from him being African American and having pit bulls. And the denial of the accommodation, the respondent stated that he did not ask for an accommodation, but when we contacted the witnesses, they all indicated that they were aware that he had a disability and that he did state that he needed an accommodation because he had been hospitalized, indicating that he did ask for an accommodation, and even unrelated third parties who were witnesses were aware of it.
Okay.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
His request for accommodation, was that a formal request? And those witnesses, were they pursuant witnesses to his formal request, or they're just hearsay witnesses, or I mean, how did they tie in? And his denial was based on what?
Okay, that's the first part. What do you mean?
There's like several questions there, Director Lacy. I'm sorry. Too many questions.
So, for under the law, a request for reasonable accommodation doesn't have to be in a specific format. If the request makes the respondent aware of the disability, or if the respondent is already aware of the disability and there is a disability-related need to meet that request, then the respondent is supposed to be providing that accommodation, or at least attempting to provide the accommodation. But in this case, the respondent just ignored the accommodation request and seemingly took the position that they were not required to provide the accommodation request. And they were, the witnesses were third parties who were standing nearby and witnessed the conversation as it occurred. And one of them recorded the encounter. So there is recording, a video and audio recording of what he said and what the response was. So it is documented that he did make the request. And it seems that maybe there is a misunderstanding of what is required under the law when those requests are made.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Director Lacy? what is your will and pleasure, on this matter?
I would say that we move it to, public hearing.
Okay, I would take a motion. Is that a motion?
I would, move that we see this case in, public hearing.
I second the motion.
It's been properly moved by Commissioner Holly that, we, move this, case PA 0009-003-25 to public hearing. It was seconded by Commissioner Boyd. Are there questions to the motion? Question to the motion? There being no question to the motion, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. The ayes have it. We will take it to public hearing. Okay. I think we already talked about a request for budget rollover, correct?
Yes, so we just would need the vote on that.
Okay, all in favor, I just need a motion for the, request for a budget rollover.
I would move that the, remaining funds, be rolled over, for hiring of, temps and part-time people to, continue, the workload that was not accomplished, during the, fiscal year.
I
And
second.
oops,
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say,
Go ahead.
I think we would just be submitting a request. I don't think that they would necessarily do it based on the commission voting on it. But just to submit the request.
Okay, let me revise it, to submit the request for, the remaining funds to be rolled over to, in the budget.
Okay, Commissioner Holly has recommended that we, request for the budget to be rolled over. So we will, I think we all are in compliance with that, and, we will ask, Director Lacy to, request that the finance department would attempt to do that based upon the, language that we used before.
Do we need a vote on that?
I don't think so. We can take a vote on it if we want to. Anthony, go ahead and get a vote on it, from everybody, please.
Okay.
A yay or nay?
Okay, let's find the names. Okay, taking quite a few notes. I'm trying to find where the rest of the names were. Oh, who's fake? Okay, okay, here we go. Commissioner Mike Guster,
Yes.
Commissioner Frank Holly,
Yes.
Commissioner Charlene Upchurch Taylor, Commissioner Glenn Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ethelene Boyd, yes. Commissioner Jeff Transel,
Yeah.
okay, so that's 6.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Okay, We already talked about the office, relocation. I don't think we'll need to beat on that anymore. I think we, got everything that we need out of that. Is there anything else that we need to discuss there?
I don't think so. I'll just send the request back over to ask to give us an updated estimate based on the request that we have made. And then I guess I could resend them over the specifications that we sent over in August, and then to follow up if we are waiting on them to give us proposals for other locations, or if they were waiting for us to provide that, because I wasn't clear based on my notes.
Okay.
And could you also ask them if they have a proposed design layout or something that they are working to?
A layout?
I mean, the proposed one, they're talking about changing walls and knocking out stuff and,
Oh, that was in the documents that, that was forwarded, but it's not entirely clear, but I'll show that just to make sure this isn't what you're referring to. Okay.
What I need to do here, guys, I'll be right back here. Just one moment here.
This isn't what you're referring to?
is this the proposed after the renovations? Or is this current?
This is how it is currently set up. I think they are outlining what the alterations are that they're making. So the door hardware is just changing the knobs. I can literally do that myself if that takes some of the cost off. That's the green thing. It's and then this is the stairwell that they're proposing to take out. This is the door clearance that they're planning to widen. So it's the same thing that's in the photos that I took and sent to you all when we did the walkthrough a few months ago.
Okay, so this is second floor.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't actually tell us what the plan is for that. It's just these are the areas that they're doing the alterations to. So this isn't what you were thinking. You were thinking something more?
No. I was just thinking that the layout, I thought they had maybe revised the layout. You know, they were taking out walls, they were expanding stuff in order to meet the requirements that we had sent to them.
Well, and we didn't. We only asked that they widen a couple of doorways, and that it was this area here that we thought would end up being the most expensive area because there's like a brick wall on one side and the office space there. So that was the one that we thought would be the most complicated thing. But the rest of it was just doorways, widening them.
ADA.
Yeah, in the bathroom. Okay. Mm-hmm. But for like the office space specifically, we thought we could use this open area and then just put cubicles up there.
Mm.
So,
wasn't one of the most expensive things an elevator, or?
From what I can't tell. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I looked over it repeatedly, and I don't understand the document. It looks like they're saying that there is a removal of a stairway that's $100 and some thousand, and I don't know if that's the actual elevator, the installation of the elevator, but it's $275,000. But to remove and replace the stairs is $150,000. So I'm not, I'm not sure exactly what that entails. So maybe ask them for like a design concept of like a
Yeah.
visual concept? Okay. Okay.
1 second.
Anything else?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I guess we're ready to go into closed session now?
I think so.
Okay.
Create.
All right, Ethelene, you're gonna do the, honors for us today when I ask for a roll call.
Okay,
All right, okay.
so this is the roll, call to go into.
Yeah, we're gonna ask for a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5, 1C, to discuss strategies with counsel and matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the government body in that litigation. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second? And then we will need each commissioner to vote to go into closed session.
Second it.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Commissioner Holly, second by Commissioner Tranzu. Commissioner Boyd, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Mike Guster,
Yes.
Commissioner Frank Howley,
Yes.
Commissioner, do I call, Commissioner Charlene, Church Taylor if she's absent?
She's not here, so.
Okay, Commissioner Glenn Peterson,
Here.
Commissioner Ethelene Boyd. Yes. Commissioner Jeff Tranzo.
Yes.
So, 2, 3. Okay, all yeses. Right. So is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 yeses?
Okay. It is 1:23. Pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5, 1C, and upon the motion of Commissioner Holly and Board, all commissioners